come. I guess they'll figure out.
Recorded. All right. Good evening, ladies. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Those of you who are here know why you are here, because we're either in a midlife crisis, about to arrive in a midlife crisis, have passed our midlife crisis, know somebody who is in a midlife crisis or about to go into a midlife crisis, and then that thriving part, you're thriving through that midlife crisis. And we have a group of panelists who have either been through a midlife crisis, survived a midlife crisis, currently in a midlife crisis, and know a lot about being in a midlife crisis. So thank everybody who qualifies themselves to be here today, myself included. I don't think I'm in one, but I know I'm headed onto that street. So I will also be paying close attention to all the information that is being presented. So thank you and welcome to the At My Age Midlife and Thriving web series hosted by Miss Ola Jackson. And my name is Kiki Brown, and I will be your MC, also the doorkeeper and the timekeeper. We have 4 amazing panelists today. And before I introduce them, I would like to introduce our host. She is a young lady. She is a young lady who is constantly thriving and providing much needed information for women who are evolving to different stages in their lives. And she can do it through health. She does it through fashion. She does it through accessories. If you know Miss Ola, you know she just comes with it, like just bam. She's even fashionable when she's taking a walk. So it is definitely my pleasure to introduce our hostess for the evening, Miss Ola Jackson.
Oh, thanks. I'm taking a walk. Okay. Well,
taking a walk.
Yes, we actually had 69 people register. So I guess folks are trying to figure it all out. But the reason that we're having this, I created this because I didn't think there was a lot of platforms for women of a certain age, for people. And so not for us to dialogue about certain issues that impact our quality of life, I thought it was well overdue. The things we are going through, good, bad, or indifferent, there wasn't much of an outlet. Resources weren't in front of us. So I said, we need to have a dialogue that's specifically for women of color to address the issues that impact our quality of life, whether it's aging in the workplace. Of course, the health issue is one, and the mental health is very important. I think we're going far too long without seeking the help that we so badly need in the taboo of mental health. So, I developed several platforms for us to not just to make it a process for us to continuously come together and have this conversation. Hopefully it'll be empowering and that we can have an action plan. So I'm going to give it back to Kiki to let you know who we have here on board to have this discussion. Are you all muted?
No, I got it. I'm good. I'm good. I'm hearing doorbells and shuffling. And so
well, we had 70 registered, so you might be hearing.
Yes. So we are not all strangers to the Zoom experience. So I want to act like we are not going to be surprised if somebody accidentally mutes themselves, or, you know, we get up in the middle of something thinking we done turned our screen off. So we've all seen the coffee commercials. We know about Max, you know, whatever the commercial for the coffee was, we all can experience that. Like right now I have a doorbell ringing in my ear. Mm-hmm. So we have 4 amazing speakers today who are going to talk to us about this new experience that we call that you know, takes over our lives. And as we evolve to become either 50 or 60 or even 70, even those levels in our lives change physically, mentally, financially. And so we have experts here who are going to provide some much needed information on how we can adjust and what questions that we can ask and what resources that we need to reach out and grab for ourselves or even for our loved ones. So we have is it Jareen Barnes? I'm gonna unmute.
It is.
Okay. Jareen Barnes, she's with the Midlife Career. She's a midlife career strategist. And she's going to talk about aging in the workplace. We've all had that one lady who just wants to be either in front of the space heater or the air conditioner. And so, you know, we need to figure out how to deal with her, or we are her. So or we're about to become her. So thank you so much, Jermaine, for being here. We also have Kirsten Womack. She's a travel and health blogger, and she's going to talk about reimaging retirement. Okay. I'm not quite there. But it is also good to know and good to plan, right? So with it, Dion Cole said we're about 5 summers in. We got about 5 summers left, so we need to start planning.
Dion Cole.
Okay, so then we have Jermaine Goodin Patterson. Dion Cole's a comedian and an actor.
Okay.
Jermaine Goodin Patterson is a community health worker, and her topic is on women for a healthy environment. And I would love to know more about that, because people say you are who you grow up around. I'm not sure if that's true or not. So she's going to dispel those rumors and just give us some must-needed information on that. And then we have Terri Lynn Smith, who is the CEO. Let's talk about her therapy, mental health, and women over 40. Whoop, 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 whoop. 48. I am 48. So I can't even qualify for like fabulous over 40, under 40, fabulous over 50. Like I'm right in the middle. We just get ignored all the time. So hopefully y'all help me. This is not for y'all. This is for me. This whole platform is for me. It's not for y'all. So we're gonna get started. Let's hear from Miss I say Jareen. Is it Jareen? Jareen Barnes.
Jermaine. Kiki, think of tangerine.
No. Jareen Barnes.
Like a tangerine.
Jermaine Barnes, but when you think of my name, tangerine.
Because you have on orange. You have on orange. I'm gonna think tangerine. Tangerine.
There you go.
Tangerine. Got it. Tell us about aging in the workplace. What can we do about this lady who's always having hot flashes and she's mean? Is that what you're talking about? We talk about her?
Oh,
we talking
Kiki,
about?
no, I'm not talking about that.
Okay.
Women having hot flashes. No, I mean, and now I'm going to tell you, women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s do have hot flashes. There are some flashes going on there. But when we're talking about aging in the workplace, because it affects, it's one of those isms, and it affects women that are 40s, 50s, 60s, and we have chosen, many of us have chosen to work longer for whatever the reason may be. So aging in the workplace, it really isn't a bad thing. It's a great thing. But what I want to share with you this evening is, I want to start off by saying that, I don't know if any of you know, but 4.3 million Americans, 4.3 million Americans quit their jobs in August. And that is from the US Bureau of Statistics. And I want to share with you, of course, a lot of them were women that were 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and caregivers, caring for family members, caring for children, professional, different levels, educational, clinical, but 4.3 million resigned from their positions. So they say, that this period is the great resignation. No, I look at it as the great reimagine, because women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, we are all 70s, we are all learning and understanding about our value. We want to be valued, we want to be respected, and given an opportunity to shine. And I think that's really important. And age can sometimes be a barrier in the workplace. And if we come in saying that, oh, my knees hurt, oh, I'm having a zillion hot flashes, oh, this, oh, that, sometimes we have to shift and pivot and change our own mindset as women that are in our 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. Because the way I look at it, the way I see this panel, and I know we have many women out there listening in, and I know some of them that are listening in, we are definitely young. we have to embrace our age, whether it is 40 and above, and because it's crucial, it's important. And the thing about it is, we have really been with this past year and a half, 2 years. A lot of us, we have done some deep soul searching, reflecting during the pandemic, and that 4.3 million, those individuals, many of them women, did that soul searching because they're like, hey, I am worthy, I am valuable, I am worthy and valuable of more. I deserve respect, I deserve more pay, I deserve to be included. Because a lot of times in the workplace, when you reach a certain age, there may be a mature employee where they are not included. So that sense of inclusion it does a little bit of damage to someone's ego and their soul and their spirit. So that's where I'm coming from with this. Because I have to share with you, and I'm going to share very quickly because I know you're the timekeeper, Kiki. But even myself, during that time period, the past year and a half, 2 years, I was like, I did my soul searching and my reflecting. And it was like, okay, I'm always asking everyone as a midlife career strategist, what is your what next? What is your next chapter? What is your next? And what is your story? And how do you want to lead your story? And I'm like, I really have to give some thought to this. So I was sharing this with my son, and I was like, hey, Corey, do you know how old your mother is or how old your mother will be next year? He chuckled. He was like, he said, yeah, I do. And I'm like, oh, okay. I said, no, don't even go there. And he's like, he asked me, so what are your plans? I'm like, oh, really now? What are my plans? And so I actually did tell my son, I do have a plan A, B, C, D, because when I go into 2022, I said, I plan on doing something different and something new and something that is really going to capture my interest and work on my bucket list of items. And he was like, okay. And it's interesting because even with myself, my position that I had for 11 years, I've actually recently moved into another position in regards to diversity, equity, inclusion. Yes, that is my passion. That is what I am heavily interested in and involved in. However, my thing is to continue to empower, educate, and motivate the midlifers. Because midlife does not mean we're old, we're just better, we're just fine. And we are growing and we are willing to learn. So that is where I'm at, but I do have a plan B, C, and D as well,
Right.
because when I was tapped for the position, and this is something that we have to think of when we are mature. It's like, okay, we may be close to retirement, and I will be 63 in December, just to let y'all know. But we have focus on not our age, but we have to focus on everything that we have to offer. We have plenty to offer. So when I was tapped, I wasn't searching. I was tapped, and there was a conversation that was held, and
Yeah, I think she kind of froze.
Believe she froze again.
Yeah, but what she was saying, she actually started her dream career in her 60s. So, so she didn't get to finish that. That's what she was going, and she actually was able to start dream career in her 60s. So.
Thank you so much, Miss Jermaine. Thank you. I
Applied
appreciate
for
you.
the
She's still
position.
talking.
Oh, first I updated my resume because I hadn't updated my
Miss
resume in
Jermaine,
quite time.
Miss Jermaine.
Ladies, just be prepared. Yes, yeah, and a really good friend. Is my time up?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
Is my time up?
Oh, yeah, you have frozen and didn't realize it. So
Yeah, you
I kind of
froze.
Okay, and you know what? But I do want to say one last thing. I want everyone to definitely have that bucket list because it's important. And remember, the only limits that you put on yourself, they're coming from you. So keep this in mind. The word fear, that shouldn't even be in our vocabulary. Number one, we have to, the F stands for faith. Step out on faith because you don't know unless you try. You don't know unless you try. Keep
Right.
trying, keep trying, keep trying. There is no failure. And if we fail, we just keep moving on. Number two, embrace who you are. Embrace your beauty, embrace your age, embrace your experience, embrace your wisdom and knowledge. A, remember, you are amazing. You are awesome. You are all of that. So keep that in mind. And lastly, I was always using the letter R for resilient, but I've changed that. The R stands for reimagine. Reimagine your next chapter. Your next chapter, because there is chapter after chapter after chapter. We're not through yet.
All
Thank
right. Thank you so much, Jermaine Barnes.
You're welcome.
Midlife career strategist, aging in the workplace. If there's any questions that you want to ask her, please leave your question in the chat and you can address it to her. Or if you want to ask the panel or everyone that's here, please make sure you do that in the chat so that we can kind of keep the time close. We have our next panelist who is a travel and health blogger, and she's going to talk about reimagining retirement, Miss Kirsten Womack.
Thank you so much, Kiki, and thank you, Ola, for having me. So today I looked up the definition of retirement, and according to Wikipedia, it's withdrawal from one's position or occupation from one's active working life, and it could be due to it's due to being incapable of working due to health reasons or afford to stop working due to private or public benefits. Sounds very exciting, not right? So, but when I looked at this, I thought about my mother and father. My father retired because he had Alzheimer's. My mother retired because she had reached her pension benefits. And those are the reasons that they retired, which is basically what this definition says. But that is totally out of a line with why retirement is part of my life. Now, I am not totally retired. I work about 2 hours a day, but I'm work for myself, so I can say I'm retired. My husband is fully retired. And the thing about retirement for me is freedom, right? Now I can do all of the things that I want to do. And also when I was a kid, I used to think you had to be rich to retire. I thought retirement was only for rich people, right? That's how it's positioned. You think about the big pension plans or the big investors or the big stock people. But let me tell you, I am not old. I'm 58 and I am not rich. But I can still say that I live a semi-retired life. And one thing about the semi-retired life is you have to prioritize it, and time must be your top priority, right? Not time of when you're going to be retired, but how are you going to spend your time? Because you can sit in a chair all day and watch TV like my mother did in retirement, or you can get out there and live, right? And I think this is how I look at it. I'm getting older, so every single second is of value. And I'm going to spend it in a way that brings me joy and happiness. So saying no to things to open up time for other things is very important in that retirement time period because you just never know. So when you're in retirement, you get to decide what's important. It's no longer about a job telling you what's important in your life that you have to do. This is my life. This is how I'm designed to live it. This is what's important to me. And your mindset has to be in the present. You can't think about what I didn't do or why I didn't do it. And you can't think about tomorrow may never come. Live for today. Have fun every day. Make plans every day to get things done that you need to do so you can go out in the afternoon and do what you want to do. And then a lot of people say, well, I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave my kids a lot of money. So that's good. Yes, that's fine. But there's a better legacy, and that's a legacy of love, right? So think about that legacy of love and what you can do during your retirement to bring more love into your family and into your children and into your grandchildren. Leave that legacy. So when you leave and you leave them money and you leave them a legacy of happiness and memories, that's a lot better. And then never stop striving, right? My mother stopped striving. And when I think about it, it just saddens me because she just basically watched TV and went to bingo. And one of the things that she used to say to me is, I just wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that. Because after a while, sitting in the chair for so much long, her hips got really bad. So just a simple trip to the market was a challenge for her. So in your midlife, please move your body. The longer we sit, the harder it is to move as we get older. So the mental health, the physical health, it all comes together when you're in your retirement. And if you don't take steps now, you don't wait, take steps now, you're going to have pains during your retired years. The years that you're supposed to be out enjoying yourself, you're going to be stiff. I mean, I'm in an RV park now, and it's mostly retired people. They can't get out and enjoy like my husband do because they're on walkers, they're in wheelchairs, they are stiff. They just can't do the movement. They're out here and they're enjoying it and they're doing the best they can, but it's kind of a struggle for them. So think about all of those things when you think about retirement. Think about, how am I going to spend my time? How am I going to make this time best for me? What's going to be important to me? Is it going to be important that I travel? Is it going to be important that I take on another semi-career? Is it going to be important that I get involved in community? Think about the things that you're going to do and what's important. And then your mindset, stay in that present when you are, not just in retirement, but now. Be present in your life and what you're doing, because I'm telling you, things can change so quickly and we have no control. We know that. So live in the present and make your present the best. And then that legacy of love up on your family, love up on those that you care about. That is so much more important than money. And then never stop striving, ladies. In that retirement, man, I'm striving for stuff every day. I'm trying something new. I'm doing different things. I'm getting out there. I'm hiking. I'm just constantly striving. And that makes me excited to get up. I mean, my mom retired with no plan. I have a brother who retired, no plan. They just sat, no plans. It's all about planning. So that's what I have to say about reimagining in retirement. It's
and
not
because she's at an RV, she's all over the country. And you talk about reimagining retirement. I don't think you imagined this, did you? I mean, you're
no,
you're hiking,
No.
you're on a mountain, you're on a horse, you didn't imagine this.
Yes, I did not.
Different.
Yeah, I did not imagine this being my retirement, but man, am I glad for it. And so now I'm imagining every day. I'm looking at it now. I have a map over there on the top of my refrigerator, and it's the different states that we've been to. So I look at it and I'm thinking, okay, when I go to California, what am I going to do? When I go to Oregon, what am I going to do? So I am always striving to go Google things to do in the different states and just get out there and experience life, because I'm living a blessed life. But like I said, it wasn't handed to me. I worked for this, we had to sell everything. So that part was hard, but I got
Mhm.
through it. I got over it. Some stuff is in storage, but just have a plan, ladies. It's
And
just
that-
so sad when I see people that are retired with no plan.
Is it true that, and please, if you have a question, please make sure you leave it in the chat. And post your question to the individual panelists. That way you all can have some dialogue and exchange information if necessary. Is it everyone's vision for retirement is not the same. So
No,
it's
it's
like,
not.
well, I'm going to retire and I want to move to Paris, or I'm going to retire and I'm going to take up knitting, or I'm going to spend more time with my family, or I'm going to learn a different trade. So everyone's retirement plans are different. And my mom was going to retire and she realized that it wasn't the time yet, financially, because that's a big deal too. That's a big move. If you are planning to retire, you have to make sure all your coins are in the right spot, because like you said, there are some sacrifices and it is an investment in the rest of your life. So you have to do it. You have to do it smart. So thank you so much. Is it Kirsten or Kirsten?
It's Kirsten.
Kirsten. Okay.
And right now I'm in
folks
Las
be
Vegas.
changing their little words into Vegas.
Yes.
Vegas.
I'm here till May.
Oh, well, you get to see.
We're gonna stay here for the
Oh, you get to
winter.
see Adele. You get to see Adele.
Good.
Right. Well, I'm not paying that much.
Okay.
money for
Okay.
Adele.
Okay.
Now,
All
those
right.
tickets are going to be very expensive. I could probably say the cheapest one will probably.
All right now.
She froze again. I will see her on Twitter and Instagram for free. Okay.
Me too.
They're not- listen, no, I will see them on
No.
social media. She's not getting my coins. So we're going to talk about women for a healthy environment. We want to get a little bit more information about this. Thank you so much, Kirsten, for giving us information about travel and health and about traveling and reimagining your retirement. So now we kind of got the wheels rolling about what our plan should be. Do we want to live in an RV? Do we want to sell our house? Do we want to move into an apartment? Do we want to get a pet? Like this should have some of our wheels turning as far as our planning goes. But since we're in this midlife cycle, we're going to talk about environmental wellness and the effects of personal care products on our health. With Jermaine Goodin Patterson. Now, I'm really curious about this because this means we have to buy different products because our bodies are different. So tell me.
So
give me the tea, Miss Jermaine.
So I work with Women for a Healthy Environment as a community health worker. But prior to that, I worked at the Eastern Food Co-op for 23 years, buying personal care products. And that's actually where I met Ola at. So this topic is a serious topic. It's about Black women. It's about Black families. So just some facts. So Black women are exposed disproportionately to toxic chemicals in the workplace, in our communities, as well as in the cosmetics that we buy. Now, when I say cosmetics, I don't just mean makeup. I mean hair care products. We're talking about skin care products. We're talking about anything that we put on our body. So our skin is the largest organism of our body systems, right? So we have pores, and whatever we put on our skin is going to seep into our body and eventually into our bloodstreams. And a lot of people don't think about that. From our head to our toe, we have pores. So the topic I'm going to touch on briefly is how the toxins in our personal care products affect our health. We, as Black women, we spend $5.7 billion on personal care products and salon products. We visit the salon on average twice a month. So that's that's a lot of product when you really think about it, to enhance our beauty. But it also has an effect on our health. So it's really something I want you ladies to consider if you have not already considered, not only for yourself, because it's never too late to turn back, right? It's never too late. But we want to think about the generations behind us. We want to start teaching children about the importance of, and some of you may wonder, well, it's on the shelf, then why is it on the shelf if it's toxic? That's because here in the United States, there are no tight regulations when it comes to body care products. Pretty sad, but it's true. So essentially, I can put something on the shelf that has tons of lead in it, and it'll be okay. And we all know it's capitalism. We all know it's about the bottom line, the dollar, but we don't want to contribute to that, right? We don't want to contribute to it. We don't want it to be a part of our demise. We don't want it to be a part of our children's demise. And I just want to list some of the products that we want to consider: hair relaxers, skin lighteners, dandruff shampoo, hair conditioners, hair dyes, nail polish, and any type of treatment that you put on your nails, and also fragrant products. So when it says fragrant, it can be anything. Unless it says pure, 100% pure essential oil, it is most likely a fragrant that is toxic, that is a chemical. So chemicals are made up in different ways, and some of them are there to protect people. Like we're talking about something like a sunscreen. A sunscreen is, and we know that we have melanin, so we are protected by the sun, but we are protected by our melanin from the rays of the sun. But there are some chemicals that are put in products to protect people. So there's many chemicals. I am going to put actually in the chat. There is a company, it's called the Environmental Working Group, and they actually have a database in which you can go to, and they have a database of cosmetics. So anytime you have a concern about a product, you can look it up on this database, and it'll tell you, what's in it, if it's toxic, if it's cancer causing. So let's talk about toxicity. What does that mean? It means that it can disrupt your immune system. It means that it can cause cancer. If you think about it, you think about some of the people in your lives. We are led to think that most cancers are caused by cigarette smoking, right? If you think about it, if you think about some of the people in your life, and maybe they died of cancer, maybe they have cancer, and you start to wonder why, why. Some people, you think, from looking at them, they look healthy, but it's most likely from toxins. And those are cosmetics are the one toxins that we can make a choice for ourselves, right? We can make a choice by reading the ingredients, finding out what the ingredient does. But there's other toxins, and that's a whole nother topic. We have toxins in our water. We have toxins in the air. We have toxins in the products that we buy for our homes. We have toxins in our cleaning products. So the cosmetics part is just a fraction of toxins or chemicals that we use on a daily basis. So I really want everyone, if you have not already, start to consider that. And I want to talk about one thing, one particular personal care product that maybe some of us has used in our lives. For me, it's been over 30 years since I had a relaxer in my hair. But that's one of the most toxic products that Black women use. And some of the things some of the side effects of relaxers, and some people aren't even aware of them, nosebleeds, dizziness, respiratory problems, scalp irritation, scalp infection, dry and brittle hair, split ends, you lose your hair thins out, you begin to have breakage of your hair, and then lack of exercise. Some of those things you might say, yeah, I've heard of that, but think about a lack of exercise. So
Right.
it causes you to be fatigued. Think about the person who's actually putting it on your hair, let alone the person who's sitting in the chair, and the amount of toxins on a daily basis when they're applying a relaxer to someone's hair, how
Right.
it's affecting their health. That's pretty much it. I just wanted to touch on it. The toxicity of products. It's, they can also be hormone disruptors as well. And they can.
I talked to
Yes.
hairstylist because I've had my issues because I do use this EWG because now I know you said what not to use. As we begin to talk as a group, you can possibly give us some suggestions of what to use, because now at this point I'm using some Vaseline on my legs, and I'll find something natural for my hair because I can't do it no more. It's been
Vaseline.
on my bar. Is Vaseline bad too?
Even Vaseline.
Oh,
I know
Lord.
it's an old time, I know, but
my
look at the ingredient and then look at what that ingredient
Yeah.
is. Petroleum. What is
Mhm.
that? It's gasoline.
So we just supposed to be walking around ashy with an afro.
There are alternatives. I mean, some people are allergic to nuts, but there's shea butter you can use.
I use shea butter daily and
there's
coconut oil.
Coconut
oil and
coconut
shea
oil.
butter.
Right.
Well,
But there are many sisters. There are many
Yeah.
sisters that are making all natural personal care
Well,
products.
if you and I don't want to cut you off, I apologize, but you have to, we've evolved to this point because it's because these makers can make more money. It allows more shelf time where they can stay, on these shelves for years. And so that's why these chemicals are implemented in these things. And so now we go back to before all this started. We were literally, our ancestors were literally using juices and berries and natural honeys and ingredients
products.
like that.
Right.
And because of how things change, and then you have image being everything. So now we were straightening our hair because we wanted to look this way or be accepted for this particular society. And so, now we're in it. And I've seen more people move more towards natural products than anything. I've never seen so many. Just years ago, I've not seen so many people with locks here in Pittsburgh. And it having my hair locked has been the best decision I've ever made. My hair has never been so healthy, but even that is hard because it's strain on your hair, but that's another panel discussion.
Right. So a little history on relaxers, just in case you don't know.
Real quick.
Real quick. So it was actually an accident by a Black man Mr. Morgan, he was actually sewing. So his parents had a sewing factory, and he was using an oil, right, to oil the needle, and it accidentally got on him, and he noticed that it straightened his hair. And so that's some people think it was Madam C.J. Walker, right? But the actual relaxer, it was an accidental invention that was created by a Black man.
The man messed our hair up.
He was a
man did it.
He was a Black man, though.
A man, a brother. No.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Jermaine. I know that there's so many things, and you can go to the chat room and talk about it. If someone did bring up the list, so that's good. It's great conversation. So if there's any questions, please make sure you leave your questions in the chat. And I know that there's some other things. So once we get finished, once everyone speaks, I know some of the panelists still have some more to say, but remember, we're done at 7:30, and right now it is 6:47. So just want to give everybody a chance to kind of get all their information. And Terri Lynn Smith is the CEO of Let's Talk About Her therapy. And we are not talking about her, the singer. Although I love her. Her is amazing.
Those of us in the 60s and our 60s have no idea who her is.
I think you're the
and
only person though, Miss
You
Ola.
know.
No, I think you're the
Who
only
else? Who
one.
else in here know who
Yeah.
her is?
Anybody
I
else
have
know
young
who her
kids.
is?
I have teenagers, so.
Uh-huh. I used the word tape and she corrected me. She said, no, it's a record now. I had no idea they were taping
Yeah, she
stuff
did
no
say
more.
tape. Everybody here knew that you don't tape. Everybody does. Everybody know that. But it's okay. I still love you. Terri Lynn Smith is the CEO of Let's Talk About Her Therapy. So when we talk about therapy, we're definitely talking about mental health and women over 40. I know we are not strangers to the what was it, the article that talked about the Black women here in Pittsburgh and what is it, the life expectancy or and just how mental health, right. So I'm sure you may touch on that, but you know, as a person who sees a therapist weekly, okay. I endorse therapy. Please go see somebody to talk, and not your cousin. Please don't talk to your cousin.
Why we don't.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I'm sure she hasn't mentioned why Black women don't seek therapy. A lot of Black women don't seek
Let's
therapy.
talk about it. I'm still talking to my friends, telling them I need to go see therapy. So I'm being an example. So Miss Terri Lynn Smith, you have the floor or the screen.
Thank you all. So I'm going to give you all just a brief, some information on statistics that will show why, especially women of color, do not make mental health healing a priority. Right now, there are a total of 198,811 therapists actively employed in the United States. Out of all of that, only 3.8% are men or women of color of counseling. The majority is 77% Caucasian. The other percentage is 11% Asian. Our deterrent is if we walk into an office and they do not resemble us, they do not relate to us, they don't look like our moms or our aunts or our uncles or our brothers, that is a deterrent. We need to be understood. We need to be able to be empathized and not sympathized with. And that's not the routine for us. But that is changing. It is evolving. And we do need to know the importance of our overall mental health, especially with us hitting that age range of 40 to 60-year-olds. The most prevalent experience that we have is unmanaged trauma, depression, and anxiety. And unfortunately, some of that anxiety comes from what is called comparison syndrome. Now, comparison syndrome is something that you can either do internally or intentionally. And it is comparing where you are right now in the present moment to what you see someone else achieving or accomplishing and asking yourself, why is that not me? That is the biggest form of depression that we as women, and especially as Black women, can do. We are all unique for a difference. And your life is not going to be the same as the next person. But sometimes because we are not dealing with hurt us, we're not dealing with our own personal things, we are trying to live through others, and it's not going to work. So the HER in my title stands for Healing Empowers Resiliency, because we all need to recognize and give ourselves our flowers, because we expect others to do it for us, and we're not doing it enough for ourselves. And that is the most important thing. Because when you start to hear about midlife, it becomes kind of a sad moment instead of a celebratory moment. To me, I'm 55. I'm in the prime of me being fabulous. Right, I am. We should not have to equate with getting older as this is the end. No, it is the beginning.
Mhm.
It is the beginning to live your life on your terms, the way you want, how you want, when you want. It is time for you to take charge. And where the mental capacity comes into play is there are 6 stages when you hear midlife that we all go through. Denial, you don't want to accept I'm getting older.
Mhm.
Who does? Anger, what is my life going to be like? I should have done this. I wish I could have done that. Replay, you're trying to hold on to those moments of your life that were the best and try to strive from there. So it kind of makes you feel stagnant. You tend to be stuck on great times as opposed to trying to move forward to create more. Depression kicks in. Again, that moment of, well, my life should be like this. I wish I would have went to school. If I would have took this job, it creates a sense of doubt, guilt, and suppression. It makes you withdraw. If you feel your life is not where it should or meeting the expectations of others, it makes you kind of isolate yourself. And then the word acceptance. It's time for us to accept who we are, our shortcomings, our faults, the change that we need to have. And that is the biggest part. My main things for mental health is always this: healing versus hindering, collaboration versus competition. It is time to begin to heal from things that cut you so you no longer bleed. I said that backwards. It's time to heal the things that cut you so you will no longer continue to bleed on people who didn't impact that.
Go on now.
It's time to speak about those unspoken truths and traumas of our lives. It is time to get away from generational curses and expectations that we've learned, that we heard, that we seen, that we witnessed. And the biggest complex that we all have been put into and labeled as, that we as Black women struggle more than anyone, is that sense of independent, strong Black women that can carry the world on our back and look great doing it. We mask pain so well that even in our state of trauma and depression and anxiety and stress, we make it look good. So it becomes normal for us.
Wow.
And we are at a state in our lives when we are not okay, then it is okay to say we are not okay. It is okay to stop having to live up to expectations. It is time to step out on faith and take a chance on yourself and live your life the way that you want to, on your own terms, on your own basis. Stop looking at social media and saying, well, maybe if I save up my money and get a BBL, or if I lose. Listen, sis, if you got that extra 15 pounds and you feel comfortable with it, then embrace that. Because I do. Unless somebody wants to drop 15,000 on this BBL, then I have to find peace with who I am. Because what is for me, it's not for everyone. We're all unique in our way, but sometimes us envisioning what we want to be or should be, that's a mental impact on us.
Right.
It makes us feel stuck. It doesn't allow us to move forward, right? Not feeling supported by others that look like us, right? Not feeling embraced within a sisterhood or a circle impacts us mentally.
Right.
You ever had some good news and you call and you tell your friend and your reaction is, oh, we need to be celebrated. right? That again comes from that collaboration versus competition. We as Black women have so much set up against us. Our biggest enemy are other Black women. And then everyone else lying behind us.
Yep.
But it's about embracing who we are. It is about having those conversations with one another and creating a support group. It is about saying, you know what, sis, I've been there too. Let's see how we can get through this together. We don't have enough of that. Even in my therapy sessions, the main topic that women are presenting to me is the disconnect that they've had with their mothers and having to grow up as little Black girls and figure out how to be women with other women. That is emotionally draining because that means we are not showing up how we need to be. Right? When we walk in a room, why do we have to feel like, does she like me? Are they looking at me? Are they talking about me? That is an internal mental block that we have learned for so long because it goes back to we're Black women. We can have kids. We can clean the house. We can bring home the bacon. We can take care of this man and that person and this. And we're going to go to work and we're okay because that's what my mother did and her mother did and her mother did. Listen, Big Mama and them had it wrong all this time. They did. Because guess what? I don't want to keep taking care of everybody. I don't. I want someone to say to me, I got you. Why do I always have to have somebody? But that's what has been put on our shoulders. And then we're made to put on blazers and makeup and lipstick and keep our hair done and walk in our purpose while we trying to fix and figure out everything for everybody else. And then we lose sight of who we are. And then now we're angry. Now we're crazy. Now the men that look like us don't want us because we talk back. And we got an attitude, but they're not knowing where it is coming from, where it is stemming from, right? So the perception of mental health in middle age needs to be more normalized. Our healing needs to come from little girls to elderly because it was not talked about in our homes. It was not envisioned that this is going to be a part of who we are. We get to this place in our lives and we have to figure out, well, what's going on with me? Maybe I need to talk to somebody because I'm tired of complaining or sounding like a broken record. But in order for us to thrive, we have to heal. And our healing and our peace is for us, no one else. You do it for yourself. And that sometimes means
coming out. Yeah, write a book.
And that sometimes means having your strength to forgive others that are never going to apologize. And that even means yourself, for us being accountable for what we didn't allow, what we allowed, what the expectations that we put on others that we knew they couldn't fulfill. And, you know, sometimes just talking to your girlfriend doesn't do it. You need a safe place with someone relatable, someone that gets it, that is going to allow you to know it is okay when you're not feeling okay, and that I got you.
Absolutely.
And that's what it's about.
Thank you.
Let's all come together now for our different topics, and we can all dialogue on everything that everybody has presented on. That was excellent and such empowering. That
well, yes, definitely. And recognizing triggers too. That's a step in therapy that not many people know, that a phone call, a text from someone that is a trigger and you don't even know it, and you don't have to answer to that trigger. So recognizing your triggers is definitely something that is big. Going to
before I forget, AARP is a sponsor for this, and so is Women for a Healthy Environment as well. I'm going to note that to everyone that they are sponsors and bringing this to everyone. So if
Shouts to
we can,
AARP.
the AARP. So if we can even tie some things in, because I know I'll go back to Jermaine, because we're talking when she mentioned health and mental health, just trying to survive in the workplace at a certain age. If you don't have the financials to retire and feeling trapped, it's one thing feeling trapped when you're in your 20s and your 30s, but when you have a certain age and you can't get out of that job because you simply cannot afford it, bring and say something about that as it pertains to being a certain age and you're in an environment that's stressful. What are your comments on that? You hear me?
Yeah, I have to be honest.
Yeah, you froze.
It can be tough. It can just be overwhelming. It's to the point where we need her story. We need Terri, because we can't go into the workplace alone and deal with certain things, deal with the supervisors that may be really, for whatever reason, they've got their own issues, as well as work, as well as personal. We have, we'll say, the younger employees who are possibly new, very competitive, and not even acknowledging that mature employee. And not only, let's think about the mature worker that is actually at home caring for loved ones or a loved one, dealing with financial, emotional stressors and all these other different things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. And it's like, where do they turn to? Once again, Life Solutions. If a company has Life Solutions, the company that you work for, use those services. Those services are to be confidential. Use those services. We all need someone to talk to. And as Terri had mentioned, a lot of times our girlfriends, spouses, partners, whoever, they hear our stories, because it's blah, 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 blah. It is, we need someone, like Terri said, a safe place that you can go to and you can just disclose your true feelings. And that's what's really important. The workplace can be very tough because once again, that sense of inclusion when an older employee, and I've actually seen it in several workplaces where someone of age and in their late 50s, early 60s was definitely going through some challenges in the workplace. And I have to tell you, I mean, the individual actually confided with me, and we talked on numerous occasions, and it came to the point where she decided that, you know what, I've had enough. I'm seeking employment elsewhere. So you have someone that had maybe 7 years with this particular company. They were taking their expertise and their knowledge elsewhere because they weren't feeling valued. They weren't feeling appreciated. And really, that is, that's the company's loss. That is definitely the company's.
I was gonna bring.
I'm sorry.
Here. Do you ever think about, like, if you didn't make the decision to get in the RV and get out there in the world, do you ever think back at the experiences you had that you'd be going through right now if you didn't decide to jump out there and, as you say, experience life, and you think about all these things that we're talking about that people are going through on their job?
Yes, I do think about it. The one thing that I think about it is, if I hadn't have done this, I would have done something. I don't know what, but I definitely, and that's just me and my personality and how I'm made up. I would definitely have maybe moved somewhere else, or because I had already, I mean, you know me, I've lived in Ohio, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Florida. In my younger years, probably from 19 to 23, I lived in Cleveland. I moved 9 times. I'm just not a settler. It's just, I don't know where that came from. I mean, I grew up in a small town. Maybe I'm still running from it. I don't know, but I'm not a settler. So the RV life was like a perfect life for someone that's made up like me, that gets restless, that likes to see and likes to move. And so I am very happy that I did it. No regrets. I've seen things that I didn't even know existed. So. And it's not a lifestyle that's for everyone.
Right.
But if you're thinking about it, you can reach out. If you're interested in it, reach out to me. Also, whatever it is that you're thinking about doing, stop thinking about it and start making moves to make it happen. Because you can think about it forever. And I didn't think about this long. I learned about this in October, and in the following February, we had an RV.
Okay. So before we get Jermaine here to throw something in about the environment and work environment, whatever, and even the toxicity in the environment. But I'll tell a story. I think I told it the last time we had a Zoom. I was thinking about going back to work, and I had some interviews, and when a lady called me, she said that I didn't get it because she didn't think I would be there long. And I'm thinking as if she thought I would like die, right on like she walked up there and I passed on over the computer. And she wanted somebody who would be around longer, whatever that meant. And so I kind of played around with some more, and I had my friend tell me about these jobs, but an opportunity came, and I said one thing that meant so much. I said, you know what? I'm not even going to take that because I finally found some freedom. And that I said, I had finally found some freedom. And that's what we kind of all be striving for.
Yes.
Because at some point where it's like, oh my God, you mean to tell me all those years I thought that material things and the things they told us we should have to all this multitasking, but there was finally some freedom there. And I was telling my niece, because I think she just turned 31, and she's jumping around. I said, you know what? Life is so short. I said, you better find out what you want to do. I said, you better hurry up, because you'll blink and it'll be, if you don't get out here and do something. So that's my
I didn't know if you had a question, Miss Ola, but that's what I meant about having like so many summers left. That's what the reference means. Life is too short. You only have but so many summers left. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I have a question to anyone, even the panelists, if you want to address. It sounds, I've witnessed men and women who grow up in age, maybe past 50, decide to go the younger route, either dress younger, have a younger lifestyle, a younger girlfriend, a younger toy boy, younger, hair, and even changing the way, the sports cars, or, now they're vacationing, or the way they're spending their money. Yes, but we are talking about midlife. And so what do we say to those men or women? Of course, we're talking to women because we're a panel full of women. What advice can we give to them? Is that not the right way to go? Is it something, if we decide to do that, should we be careful? So what's the advice? Anyone?
Everyone has.
So,
Jermaine, you want to take that, Jermaine? Let her.
well,
Okay.
no, I was just going to say, I like Kirsten's comment, because I have always been attracted to younger men, right? So if you all see me with somebody younger, it's
She said, mind your business.
Attracted to younger
mind
men.
Your business.
So I don't think for everybody it's the same, right? Because some people may be doing it because maybe they married young in their 20s, or maybe they married young and they feel like they miss a lot, and so they want to revisit that, or and I think it's just different for everyone. And I don't personally have any advice, because it is different for everyone. So that's, yeah.
Okay. Well, Terri, Lynn was going to chime in on this too. Where you at?
Terri was like, I got this one. I got it.
No, I think it's up to the individual. Everybody handles things differently. Some could be, like they say, when a woman cuts her hair, watch out. You know, when a man buys a motorcycle, or, you know, he's dating somebody
Go up on the
10
insurance.
years, you know, younger than his own daughter or something. I think it's about what that is making you feel. Are you doing it to fill a void? Or you doing it to keep up with society's expectation? Or are you doing this because this is what you really want to do? Right. And I just think we live in such a world that judges everything that we don't agree with. We live under a microscope. So I say to anybody, do what makes you happy. And if you don't like it next week, turn it in for something different. That is what life is about. It is about your happiness on your terms, your boundaries, without someone else telling you how to think or feel.
Now, Terri, I want to ask you too, because somebody posted this something. What about women of a certain age who are lonely or disabled? How do you address their stability and how and their mental health issues? Somebody asked about that, being lonely. So I know people who are lonely. We don't address loneliness enough. People think because you're around people, you're not lonely, but we don't address loneliness enough, and suicide among women of a certain age.
And you're absolutely right. Loneliness is one of the biggest things for women. And that's why a lot of us, and I will use me because I can be authentic and transparent in my moments. That's why we settle or stay in relationships that we knew were not for us, because of the idea of having to be without someone. It's harder to grasp than I'm with someone and I still feel alone. Because you can be laid beside somebody, honey, and still be by yourself now.
Oh, sure.
So let's talk about that. But I think it's just the idea, especially getting older, that fear of, am I going to die alone? If something happens to me, who is going to be here for me? And that, or some normalized thinking processes. And it is something that we don't talk about enough, because to talk about the truth means we have to accept it.
Right.
Right. But these are conversations we need to have within this realm, because of when someone feels that way and they don't understand that someone else is feeling that way, it tends to make people feel isolated. You're not alone in this situation. There are a lot of us that are single, that are divorced, that are seeking divorce, that have been alone. And what happens is then we start to question ourselves, well, what's wrong with me? How about nothing? It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It's just maybe it's time for the dynamics of your life to shift, and you just don't know which way to go, or you're afraid to see change happen. Right?
That's good.
So these are conversations just like about death. You know, we don't talk about, do you want to be cremated or buried? Do you want so-and-so at the party? Or, you know, we don't have those conversations because unspoken conversations, we feel like it won't happen. Right? So again, it is about not holding it in. It is about having a voice for your feelings and your mental capacity and your emotional feelings, and getting support. It is maybe even connecting to a group of single women that travel, that just like to get together to eat. Hey, I have created them. I'm about to start it again, because we don't have that enough. We don't. And it is about pulling in. Again, it is about collaboration and not competition.
And I want to say something about something you said about always saying we're okay. Like when somebody asks us, I used to always say that, because I know my husband has been sick for a while. People would ask me, how's he doing? I'm saying, oh, okay. I stopped saying that. I don't say that no more.
Listen,
say that.
If you want to ask me how I'm doing, either be prepared to smile or take some notes.
Don't ask if you don't want to know.
Because people
I'm gonna tell
you out because they don't listen. Because if you listen to them, when you respond, sometimes they are like, oh, okay, that's good. You're talking about that. I said I was dying in 2 months, but you're not listening. So I guess you have to determine who you can really say that too, because you can't say it to everybody. And some people really don't care. Like people who are on social media say, I'll pray for you. I'm like, are you really praying for
Or
somebody?
the
do.
people that say
I
I'm
do.
here when you need me, and then you
Uh-huh.
call them and they ain't answered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wait till somebody dies and say, can you help me? I'm like, well, for the last 9 months, I've been, that one gets me. When they go to say, is there anything I could do? Are you serious right now? So we have to be
It's
better.
yes, it's like Kristen said, it's about being in the present, the here and now.
Uh-huh.
It is about dealing and accepting and enjoying and planning now,
Mhm.
right? Because the way this world is set up, tomorrow might be too late.
Mhm. Mhm.
You
Shoot,
understand
tonight
me?
might be. Like
Yeah.
you just don't,
You
you
know.
don't know.
Give yourself them flowers now.
Yes.
Listen, if
Give
somebody
yourself-
don't give me mine, I'm buying two
I buy
glasses
mine. I keep
every
mine by the
day,
door.
any-
I go to Aldi's and get them for $5.
What? They got the best.
Yeah, they
And I
last.
say that to say, nobody's gonna
And
love on you, appreciate you,
you.
applaud you, criticize you more than you do yourself.
Uh-huh. And Jermaine, you
can
have.
I add something?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, why, thank you. It is so important because, and this is so important because when we talk about being alone, but what I've learned is that those that really care about me, that are really supportive of me, they are there. I have 4 or 5 sister friends that I can count on. I can call day or night. They're non-judgmental. And I'm the same way with them. I am there for them. And it's even it may be someone that's out of state. It's like no matter how near or how far, I'm there for you. I'm your sister. I'm your friend. I am there for you because it's true. People really don't care.
Yeah.
It goes in one ear. What you've told them goes in one ear and out the other. So my thing is surround yourself with those that really and truly care about you.
Yes.
You
And I
have to
think
know
care
your
about your
tribe.
journey.
You must
Because
know your
That's
tribe.
what we need.
Yeah.
We need our supporters. We need our motivators. Just to be talking to folks and just to make friends, to have friends. It's like no. Because I know who my true blues are,
Right.
and that's what's important. Because
Absolutely.
everyone is not your true blue. My mother used to tell me, Jermaine, these are your true friends, and she would name them. And there's a few of them on our panel here, on our training, and that are audience. But that's important. The true blue. Those other folks, they don't care. They really and truly don't.
I know what she
Give
was
me
saying
the
too
one.
about looking at social media and asking why isn't that my life, and not letting go of the past, not asking why didn't I go to school, why didn't I do this, why didn't I marry him, why didn't I? Yeah, you have to let that go. But one thing that I do, and I always put it on my social media, because we have to find something that works for us. And for me, a morning routine has been like medicine in a bottle.
Yes.
If I always say, start your day by doing something for yourself. You never know what you're going to encounter, especially if you're the go-to person in the family. So if I've gotten out my prayer time, if I've gotten out my exercise, I've writing a book or reading a book, no matter what happens that day, I can never say, oh, what about me? I say me has already been taken care of. Today I went to visit my cousin. I've been going to see him a few times a week because he's dying. So it's like, I don't know if it's gonna be today or tomorrow. But my husband's in the hospital. So it is like a medicine to say, well, at least I've gotten that out of the way. I keep telling women over and over, don't start your day without doing something for yourself. Let that become your routine, that you've gotten that out of the way.
You know what else is freeing? Saying no. Saying no.
Yes. That was
I have to
self-care.
I have to tell myself to say no sometimes. It is so freeing, and we feel convicted because immediately we feel guilty that if we say no, that person is going to feel they can't rely on us. or they're going to judge us. And I'm a people pleaser. And so I've now learned to pick who I want to say yes and no to. So, for me, saying no is freeing. I have to realize that I can't do everything. And so that's just a way of self-care, because it gets overwhelming when you say yes to this, that.
Many of us are
You have no
overwhelmed.
time for yourself.
Many
You have
of
no
us
time for
are
yourself.
overwhelmed.
Absolutely.
I'm reading a book now where she specifically says one of the main problems that we have is that we are overwhelmed and have not deleted things out of our life. We keep picking at these little things, adding things to our deck, and then it just tumbles over, and that becomes a stress and anxiety because we keep taking on stuff without clearly understanding what it's really going to take to pursue and be successful at that. It ties into looking at social media saying, well, wow, she got that figure. Well, she's probably working out God knows how many times, or she has that, who knows how many jobs she has, what it takes to do that. So in wrapping up, if each person can give like a couple of minutes of their kind of summary, what we should be doing and an action plan, and then we can move on to wrap up. We'll start with Jermaine, you're first, a couple of minutes.
Okay, couple of minutes. Ladies, remember, have a plan. That's number one. Write your plan down. That's number two. If you don't, succeed, if the first plan isn't successful, guess what? Go to plan B, C, D, E. We are not failures. We are successful. We are successful in our own rights. Remember, there is no fear. F is for faith. Step out on that faith, like I said earlier. E, embrace who you are. Embrace your age. Embrace midlife, because we are beautiful. A is amazing and awesome. You are amazing and awesome, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Yeah, we all have stuff, baggage, and we're holding down a lot of stuff, got a lot of stuff going on. But you know what? I'm amazing and awesome. You are amazing and awesome as well. And R, reimagine your next chapter. It ain't over till it's over. There are women who have been firefighters and retired and become CDL truck drivers, tractor trailer drivers. There are women that have retired, and you know what? They found new profession as a horticulturist. There are other things out there for us. Whether we volunteer, we write a book, do something that's going to please you. It's about you. And we're at the point in our lives where it is definitely okay to say no and be who we are.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Kirsten.
I'm gonna read mine because I wrote it down because I want to make sure that I said this. So rather than fixating on a plan that no longer fits the environment, flexibly adjust your outlook to new conditions, also known as roll with the punches. Not only will this keep your blood level down, but it opens the doors to new ideas and new opportunities. So roll with the punches, ladies. Whatever they are, roll with them. Don't try to control them, roll with them.
Don't control them, roll them. Okay. Jermaine.
So yes, so Black women are disproportionately affected by so many things, and environmental exposures are at the top of the list. And so all of these topics, if we don't pay attention to what we put on our body, what's in our water, what's in the air, then we won't get to do what Kirsten is talking about. We won't get to do what Jermaine is talking about. So I want us to all take seriously the environment, the things that are affecting us on a daily basis. I put in the chat Women for a Healthy Environment's website. If you go to the website, go to our Facebook page. We have YouTube. We have a YouTube channel as well, and there you can find many topics about some of these issues. And you can advocate too. You can advocate for change. That's the biggest thing you can do. We all vote. Look and see who is who is concerned about these topics, such as having toxins in our products. So you have a right, right? So we can do this together. And I, absolutely, I hope that I see you ladies again, and I appreciate this time. Thank you.
Thanks. Terri Lynn, right? Terri Lynn. Hey, Terri Lynn, where you at, girl?
And
Over here.
ladies, let's just normalize being okay, being in charge of ourselves, dealing from what we don't have clarity or understanding of. And it here's another thing. It is okay at our age to make new connections.
Mm-hmm.
It is, because I just met someone, never known them, and we have been traveling together like crazy.
Wow. Okay.
So it is okay to step outside of your norm to live your life, because everyone in your circle isn't always going to be in your corner. Keep that in mind.
I like that. I
In
like
order to
that.
be in my corner,
Let me get that on a t-shirt.
Come on now.
Everybody in your circle is not supposed to be in your corner.
Oh, wow.
I like that.
That is
Words
awesome.
from me. Come on in my office. Y'all want to get all these gems.
Yeah, okay, everybody
Yeah,
leave their
I'll
contacts. Yeah, leave the contact and make sure the contact, and I'll put the contacts on my site too. Make sure your contacts are over here in the chat, okay?
I will.
And I'll also go to my site. I'll have their links for everybody. But we're gonna wrap up. Thank you, Kiki. I will never forget Susan Taylor when she came to Pittsburgh, and my husband drove me to Penn State, so it wasn't really in Pittsburgh, to see her. And I had just had my son. I remember Susan Taylor, and I remember I saw Susan again 3 years ago when I was getting an award in Washington. And I remember Susan said, society isn't kind to Black people, old people, or poor people. And I thought, well, that could be me if I had a Black woman and old and poor. And so I always thought about that. And when I saw her in Washington, I thought, I will never forget when she said that. It was so, it was inspiring, because I was like, I fit in all these categories, or will fit in these categories if I don't get my act together. But like so many of us, I want for all of you, find out where your freedom is. For those of us who has finally found freedom after chasing after stuff and thanking God we didn't catch some of it. It's something like praying for something and asking God, come back and get this. So I'm hoping that for you, if it's a determining factor, what is it that you need? If it's freedom comes with it, then let that be a barometer to measure. To have freedom after so many years from so many things, if it's a relationship, or if you're tied down to something that's holding you, to finally feel freedom and to be able to say that, like, I'm good. I found me some freedom. So, ladies, we want to thank our panelists. Awesome.
Peace, Ola.
Peace. Well, peace is freedom. You can't have.
Ola.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to say. Peace, because we need a peace of mind as well as that freedom.
All right now. So we're going to wrap up. Kiki, thank you. And everybody.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll make sure we keep the recording, however that works, so we won't shut off without having recorded the. So I'll put it on my website so you can, if you want to see it again, ladies. But thank you all for registering. We actually had 70 people register, but I think there may have been an issue trying to get in. So we appreciate it.
They can watch the replay, and that'll be great. Yep.
Yes. Bye. So bye everyone.
Thank you, Queens. Have a blessed evening.
We'll be chatting this thing. Nice to meet you. I'm your new
everyone.